What happens when you get hit by a bus? Heaven forbid. Or somebody in your family gets sick and you haven't had them covered.
Heaven forbid refers to a negative event that you hope will not happen, but at the same time might deserve getting mentioned. And people say heaven forbid to indicate to the other person that they don't want that thing to happen, but they are simply bringing up its possibility. For example, an insurance salesman might say, heaven forbid if you should die before your children are grown, how will you provide for them? So the insurance salesman is trying to indicate to the person that he doesn't want them to die, but at the same time he wants to bring up that possibility. Heaven forbid. You can also say God forbid. Or you can say God forbid that this should happen, but what if it rains on your wedding day? This expression comes from an older time when people were more vulnerable than they are now, and bad things could happen at any time. So people were very superstitious and used to use various expressions to try to gain favor with God or to stave off the possibility of something happening. So, for example, when someone traveled, they would wish them Godspeed, which means wish them God's help. Or people can also say, if something good happens, God willing, which means they're not demanding from the world that this should happen, but they still hope it will. Or likewise, God forbid. God forbid I should die in the next 5 years. But if I do, how will I prepare myself for that? The company has announced layoffs for next month. So God forbid I get laid off. What will I do if that happens? I'm one of 3 contenders for the promotion to manager. So God willing, I hope I can make a good manager.
For high-income individuals, you can pay a slightly higher Medicare rate, Medicare tax. So we bump that up a little bit.
To bump up refers to an increase in amount from an amount that already exists. So if the company bumps up my salary, it means that they're increasing my salary by a little bit. Also, if people are playing poker or some gambling game, they may bump up the pot, which means they increase the pot. Or a company can bump up its prices, which means they're charging more, not a lot more, but a little bit more. Lately, oil prices have been bumping up by small amounts, 5%. So people haven't really noticed the difference except by just a few pennies a gallon. Bump up can also refer to someone getting a promotion, and oftentimes it's used ironically, or it's not a large promotion, it's a slight promotion. So example, you could say the manager got bumped up to executive, which is actually a fairly large raise, but you're saying it in an understated way. If you take a plane, sometimes you can get bumped up to first class, which is what happened to me once, because they ran out of seats. Bump up can also mean that you bump into someone, not very hard. I don't like to ride the trains when it's too busy because people bump up against me. In this case, up is just a way of giving some emphasis to bump, because I could also say people bump into me. I don't have to say bump up into me. OPEC has threatened to bump up oil prices if the United States does not change its foreign policy.
But obviously you're doing some funny business there with the budget.
Funny business refers to unethical business practices. People think of the word funny as being something that is amusing or something that is fun, but the original meaning is actually something that is unusual. And oftentimes if something is unusual, yes, it is funny, but at the same time, it can just be something that's strange or peculiar or odd or not normal. So I can say that I feel funny today. It doesn't mean that I feel amused. It means that I feel sick. Or in the case of funny business, it basically means somebody is doing something illegal or dishonest. And funny is a sort of a euphemism in this case. They know it means illegal, but it diminishes the power of the word so that the accusation doesn't seem so strong. So I could say, I think the boss might be up to some funny business, or that company is up to funny business, as a way of accusing them of doing something illegal, but not coming out and using the stronger word. The boss told everybody he was taking the day off tomorrow, but he doesn't want any funny business around the office while he's away. So what he's saying is he wants everybody to work. Don't goof off. Funny business can also mean to be overly friendly or impertinent or disrespectful of someone. For example, a woman on a date might warn the date not to do any funny business, which means that she just wants to go on a date. She doesn't want him to, start trying to attack her.
That's all for today. Tom Taylor is an ESL tutor. He teaches English in the United States and outside, all over the world using Skype. He can be reached at his website, which is
ESL-fullsteamahead.com.
Click on this link and check out his website and email with questions. Thank you, Tom, and I'll talk to you next time.
Thank you.